All right, you ready? Put me on the spot.
Well, I made a promise to my mother that I would be one of the first sons to get a degree.
I had a son right before my senior year, and he's just my everything.
Growing up in the city of Detroit, every time you go outside, you see less fortunate people. So even though I had a bunch of times I wanted to quit, every time I went outside the city, I was just so motivated to finish.
I was really encouraged by my family, especially my mom, to go back and get my bachelor's.
My sisters, my parents.
This is my mother. I put her on the back of my mortarboard, and she passed on. And I finally decided to come back and finish what I promised my mother, and what I promised to myself was to get my degree, to be the first to get the degree in the family. And I did that, and I'm 60 years old.
My biggest inspiration to finish are my parents. Coming to America, they came with nothing. So doing this for them and to make them proud and, become something in life.
No matter what happens, nobody take that away from me, and I'm proud of that.
Good evening, everyone. That was good. We started the day with engineering in the morning, and usually they're pretty rowdy, but they were quiet. That's right. Business and nursing did okay this afternoon, but we know that education and social work is gonna bring it. I want to welcome you all. My name is David Strauss, Dean of Students, and on behalf of the Dean of Students Office, the Student Senate, and all of the student organizations, let me be the first to congratulate all of you gathered here this evening to celebrate a great milestone achieved. Now, commencement is an exciting and memorable occasion for all of us, but it's also a solemn and respectful one. Leaving before the ceremony has ended is disruptive and disrespectful to your fellow graduates and to all of the families and friends who are here today to celebrate with you on this joyous occasion. So we ask that all graduates and guests, and we expect that all graduates and guests remain for the entire ceremony. And before we begin, I want to take a second to talk about safety. I want you to be sure to take a minute and locate your nearest emergency exit. In case of emergency, we will receive our directions and be guided by the Fox Theater staff and also our Wayne State University police officers. Thank you. And now, will everyone please stand as the Wayne State University Wind Symphony calls the ceremony to order with the traditional opening march. I present to you members of the faculty and the candidates for PhD degrees. I now present to you members of the Wayne State University Board of Governors, the president, deans, members of the administration, and honored guests. Thank you. Please continue to stand, and gentlemen, please remove your hats for our national anthem and the first verse of the Hymn to Wayne. You will find the words to the university hymn on page 3 of your commencement program. Our soloist this evening is Catherine Conley, a vocal music education student. Catherine.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? To thee, our alma mater, homage we bring. Brave hearts raise grateful voices, thy praise to sing. Young art thou, young and strong, renowned shalt thou live and long. Honors to thee will throng, and flame to thee cling.
Please be seated. Want to give special thanks to Catherine, who has started us off each ceremony today in a wonderful and beautiful singing manner, and also tomorrow morning, she joins you as a fellow graduate. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Keith Whitfield. Provost Whitfield.
Thank you, David. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the beautiful Fox Theater for Wayne State University's May 2019 commencement ceremony. It's my honor to start this evening's ceremony by introducing you to the 2019 winter and spring-summer graduating class from the College of Education and the School of Social Work. Will our graduates please stand? Congratulations to all of you for reaching this day. Please be seated. Commencement is a day of celebration for the entire university. With us this evening, taking part in this celebration, are members of the university's academic and administrative leadership. You will find their names in your program. I ask the deans and senior administrators seated on the platform to rise and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. Since 1868, Wayne State University has anchored the city of Detroit as an engaged and motivated community of scholars. Wayne State is one of the nation's 50 largest public universities with Michigan's most diverse student body. Today, more than 27,000 students from nearly every U.S. state and many countries from around the world are pursuing degrees at Wayne State University. Each one is earning an education at a nationally ranked research university, which is strengthened by the culture, industry, and diversity of its urban environment. We believe in the definition of a university as a place where highly motivated people of differing backgrounds and aspirations may pursue both knowledge and personal growth. I know that all of our graduates gathered here today have been able to experience all that this great university has to offer. You have grown in knowledge and developed your skills in the fields you all have chosen. I think I speak for everyone here to say, we're very, very proud of you. I know that each one of you went through a lot to get to this point. But this moment is not only for you, but also for your families and friends who made a lot of sacrifices so that you could succeed. There is no such thing as a self-made person. We are all shaped by the influence and examples of everyone around us. Family, friends, faculty, staff, all have helped you get to this day. They are all teachers and mentors in their own ways. To stress the immeasurable importance of these people who've helped to get you here today, I would ask all of our graduates to rise, and let's give those people a round of applause. Thank you, and please be seated. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Mark Gaffney, a member of the university's Board of Governors, who will bring greetings on behalf of the board. Governor Gaffney.
And good evening to each of you on this special day. On behalf of the members of the Board of Governors, it is my pleasure to welcome all of the graduates of the class of 2019 and to extend to you our deepest and most heartfelt congratulations. Today's celebration in this beautiful theater is a welcome tribute and acknowledgement of what commencement means to each of us. This is a place that instills hope for big dreams and wonder for the future, which I'm sure is part of what you are feeling this evening. You have worked hard to be here today, and you should be proud, as we are, of your accomplishments. Wayne State University is an outstanding institution, and today you join more than 250,000 who call our university their alma mater. Our vibrant campus is a tribute to you, our students, and of the unwavering faith that we, the board, administration, and faculty, have in your ability to succeed. I certainly recognize, however, that it is your dedication and your commitment that have brought you to this moment and have set the path for your future success. Please let me take a moment and introduce Governor Sandra Hughes O'Brien, another member of the Board of Governors, who joins me in representing for this evening's program. Governor O'Brien. Again, on behalf of the Wayne State University Board of Governors and from our entire community, congratulations to each of you and best wishes to you for much success ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Gaffney. A very important group among us has had a great honor, the education of these fine men and women. I would like to introduce Linda Beal, President of the Academic Senate, Director of Graduate Studies and Professor of Law in the Law School, who will bring greetings on behalf of the faculty. Professor Beal.
Thank you, Provost Whitfield. One of the reasons the Senate President speaks at this ceremony is to provide you students an opportunity to thank the faculty and academic staff who have been your mentors and guides through your academic career and hopefully have helped make you who you are today, inspiring you, we hope. At this time, I would like to ask those faculty and academic staff who are here on the platform or in the audience to stand for a round of applause from the students. Thank you. I congratulate you all on your achievements. Your family, friends, lovers, colleagues, they're all waiting to hug you and wish you well after this ceremony is over. You're thinking about what comes next with a great deal of excitement and, I bet, a certain amount of trepidation. You will hardly hear all these speeches today, least of all from us old folks wishing you hearty congratulations. So I'll make my 2 cents worth really short. Just 3 interrelated ideas. The first, you've heard from your parents and your teachers your whole life. Life invites us to fritter away the short time we have on this earth. Try not to. Instead, grab hold of things that challenge you. Fill your life. Those would-be dull moments, fill them with exploration and learning. The second is one that I'm just beginning to understand. It's an explanation of the first. Live each moment to the fullest, and that means noticing how others are doing and sharing moments, large and small, sad and joyful, with them. Notice the sunshine when you wake in the morning and share it with another. Notice the way a mother protects her child and share that love with another. Notice the way a stranger offers a seat on the bus and share that kindness with another. Notice the laughter of children playing in the park and share that joy with another. Notice what another has done to compromise with you and share that effort with another. Notice the difficulties that others experience and share their triumph in overcoming them. The third, maybe the most important part of this idea, especially when you are in a difficult situation, when you are unsure of your next step, and believe me, there will be many of those moments in your lives. Notice those who seem to stand in your way and share their perspectives. Take a chance on being a friend. Take a risk to see the humor in the situation. Make a move to be a participant rather than a bystander. What you do will always be a pleasure to those of us who were your teachers. Please tweet us, link us in, email us, or just call us. We would love to have you share with us your hopes, your concerns, and your moments, big and small. Congratulations to each of you. I wish you great happiness. Thank you.
Thank you for those wise words, Professor Beal. It is now my distinct pleasure that I introduce Wayne State University's 12th President, Dr. M. Roy Wilson.
Well, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the stars of today's show at the Fox Theater, the class of 2019. Congratulations to our new graduates. This is such a terrific day, and it's actually one program that I most look forward to all year long. And you all look very happy to be here. You've worked incredibly hard to reach this moment. Wayne State University demanded your best, and you delivered. Your intellect, your curiosity, and your grit have carried you to this theater in this moment when you're poised to cross this stage and gain recognition for what you've achieved. Parents and family, you look happy too. I know that many of you were more than just supporting actors. Many of you played a pivotal role in helping these graduates get here today. So, congratulations to you also. You know, you guys look really good out there. I hope you don't mind if I take a selfie. All right. Thank you. You know, I'm on Instagram these days. And you can follow me at PresMRW. I've got about 800 followers. If you start following me, I'll triple that by end of today. But I don't want you to do it right now. Which brings me to one of my favorite lessons from my days in college, the subject of vaccines. And before you think I'm about to jump into the vaxxer, anti-vaxxer debate, let me just say that's not what I mean. Although, as a medical doctor, I really do have to add, graduates, please vaccinate your children. But I'll come back to vaccines too a bit later. Have you ever noticed how people seem to live the most perfect lives on Instagram? Log on and you see millions of perfect selfies, perfect vacations, perfect meals, perfect business deals, perfect children, perfect lives, perfection. But this perfection, this pursuit of perfection, is killing us, quite literally. Just last month, a man tumbled to his death while trying to snap the perfect vacation selfie at the Grand Canyon. And this is far from an isolated incident. Such extreme examples aside, Instagram is nonetheless often labeled the most damaging social media platform for mental health, increasing users' levels of depression, anxiety, and FOMO. For those of you that don't know, that means fear of missing out. How do we distance ourselves from this pathological pursuit of perfection? It's probably too late to just say, let's put our phones away. So here's my proposal. What if we flipped the narrative, viewed the negatives of these photos, where imperfections showed our real selves, or actually exemplified our best selves, where our best lives were defined by our happiest accidents? Because sometimes, imperfections can lead to our greatest achievements. Consider Louis Pasteur, one of my heroes back from my med school days, the famous 19th century French scientist who altered the course of modern medicine and invented the field of microbiology. Now here's a little known fact. Pasteur, as a child, showed great aptitude for the arts, but despite his teacher's encouragements, he pursued university studies in chemistry. Don't let this get around, but every once in a while, it's okay to defy your teacher. Now fast forward half a century. Pasteur has developed an illustrious international reputation as a chemist and a researcher. In an experiment with immunology, Pasteur had been injecting chickens with the flu virus. He left town for a while, and when he returned, found that his staff had forgotten to inject the chickens, and the shots filled with the flu virus had been sitting around unused, idle, weakening. I can picture Pasteur upset with his staff at their negligence, distraught about the state of his experiment. If he had a cell phone, this would not have been a selfie moment. Nevertheless, he decides to continue with the experiment and injects the chickens with the weakened strain of the flu virus that had been lying around. Miraculously, when he later injects these same chickens with the full strength strain of the flu virus, they don't get sick. And so he rather accidentally turned the laboratory failure into one of the greatest finds of modern medicine, the vaccination. Now, that would have been a selfie moment, but perhaps being present in that moment without intrusive social technology allowed him to even be more present, to better appreciate the monumental discovery that he stumbled upon by accident because of a mistake. History is rife with examples like this, moments when what seemed like slip-ups become opportunities for transformative change. So this is my advice to you, class of 2019. Don't hide your mistakes, embrace them. Embrace your imperfections. Your time at Wayne State has prepared you for anything, including how to turn failure into success or mistakes into game changers. As Pasteur observed, chance favors the prepared mind. Use your prepared mind to be ready when opportunity comes, however it comes, to turn your experiences into moments for positive transformation. Life will be messy, and this is how you will grow. Thank you, class of 2019. Congratulations again, and I wish you all the success of the imperfect.
Thank you, President Wilson. Now we begin the traditional part of the university commencement ceremony, the introduction of the candidates for degree from the schools and colleges gathered here this evening, the conferring of those degrees, and the diploma march. Over 4,200 students were eligible and applied to graduate the 2019 winter and spring-summer semesters from our 13 schools and colleges. Candidates present at this evening's ceremony will now be presented for degrees. The degrees are then conferred by the President. The awarding of the diplomas will follow the conferring process. First, from the graduate school, the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy from the schools and colleges will be presented by Dean Guerra Lopez. The candidates will please stand.
Mr. President, upon the recommendation of the graduate faculty and the Graduate Council of the University, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
The candidates will please be seated. From the Irvin D. Reed Honors College, Wayne State University students celebrate a wonderful tradition of academic achievement. We are pleased to ask John Corvino, Dean of the Irvin D. Reed Honors College, to acknowledge the students who have earned university and departmental honors designations and those students who have participated in the Community of Scholars program. Will these candidates please stand?
Mr. President, upon the recommendation of the faculty from the schools and colleges of Wayne State University, I have the honor to acknowledge the students who have completed the honors curriculum in either the University Honors Program or in their respective departments. They are wearing a gold collar in recognition of this achievement. I would also like to acknowledge those students who completed the requirements in our Community of Scholars program. They are wearing a blue and gold cord acknowledging their excellence in academics and community service.
The candidates will please be seated. From the College of Education, the master's and bachelor's degree candidates will be presented by Dean Douglas Whitman. The candidates will please stand.
Mr. President, upon the recommendation of the faculty of the College of Education, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degrees as listed in the commencement bulletin.
The candidates will please be seated. From the School of Social Work, the master's and bachelor's degree candidates will be presented by Dean Cheryl Kubiak. The candidates will please stand.
Mr. President, upon the recommendation of the faculty from the School of Social Work, I have the honor to present these 400 candidates for the degrees listed in their programs. Thank you.
The candidates will please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, now the most solemn moment of commencement as the President confers the degrees. Will all candidates for degrees please stand? Mr. President,
the authority to confer each of these degrees is vested in the Board of Governors of Wayne State University by the people of the state of Michigan under the Constitution of the state. This authority is delegated to the President by the Board. Each of these degrees is granted on the recommendation of the faculty of the university. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and upon the recommendation of the respective faculties, I do hereby confer upon you the degree for which the faculties have recommended you, and I admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. Congratulations.
the degree recipients will please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the moment that all of our students have worked so hard to achieve, the receiving of their diplomas. Candidates receiving Doctor of Philosophy degrees will process first as one group, followed by the doctoral, master's, and bachelor candidates from each of this evening's participating schools and colleges. I call on the recipients of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy to please come forward. Dean Guerrero Lopez, please come forward as well.
Jeremy Donovan from the College of Education, Dissertation Advisor, Professor Ozli Ozgun Kosha. Kylie Hardiman, Dissertation Advisor, Professor Ozli Ozgun Kosha. Daryl Gardner, Dissertation Advisor, Professor Shlomo Sawalowski. Ezra Ali, Dissertation Advisor, Professor Carolyn Shields. Taylor Barczyk, Dissertation Advisor, Ben Pogodzinsky. Ayman Sarhan. Dissertation Advisor, Professor Chin Lai. Crystal Gordon. Dissertation Advisor, Professor Monica Tracy. Stephen Ami. Dissertation Advisor, Monica Tracy. Basma Alotaibi. Dissertation Advisor, Professor Susan Gable. Christina Corbelli. Dissertation Advisor, Professor Thomas Edwards. Kiana Smith. Dissertation Advisor, Professor Thomas Edwards. From the School of Social Work, Carla Barron. Dissertation Advisor, Professor Carolyn Dayton.
I now call all remaining degree recipients to the stage to participate in the Diploma March.
And now presenting the master and bachelor degree candidates from the College of Education. Susan Shamoon Abo. Denise McCreary. Arthur Abruzzo. Extavius Jones. Cecilia Crozado. Jamie Sarek. Justin Philip Roth. Cindy Ann Lehman. Tiffany Blandford. Jennifer McNutt. Melissa Jones. Lauren Toma. Rachel Bourdin. Maureen Andrkovich. Serena Shaw. Brandy Dudley. Melissa Pearl Waters. Bushra Hussein. Jillian Sullivan. Lauren Eng. Desmonique Carr. Florian Costa. Nurul Huda Juni. Okay.
Zainab Reishuni. Naham Dabaja.
Marwa Nasser. Jamie Janik. Jessica Yvonne Collins. Taylor Lynn Maxwell. Cameron Francis. Taharath Khan. Jacqueline Dematrick. Xinjiang Liu. Valeria Rufin. Valeria? Yeah, Valeria. Sorry, Valeria Rufin. Eric Rodak. Tia Bennett. Lasant Robertson. Andrea Logan. Alex Diener. Jennifer Janot. Kristen Mattiocci. Heba Almagotir. Rebecca Agnew. Chelsea Siegfried. Heidi Stamper. Desiree Dial. Mo Traylor. Christine Kaloum. Kellyanne Berg. Mary Catherine Mackey. Jenna Phillips. Erica Kelly. Amanda Pickering. Gina Gazawi. Stephanie Priscorn. Christian Little. Takea Vincent. Dwight McDonald. Raven McMurray. Okimo Manica. Seham Mohammed. Hyatt Ramouni. Carmen Abraham. Courtney Blanchard. Yasha Moore. Imarie Redfield. Juanita Cochran. Randall Brittany Hurst. Amelia Lee. Carissa Desort. Bernadette Dore. Stephanie Rezitar. Gary Tilney Jr. Caitlin Moffett. Aaron Dillon. Kayla Dillon. Glenn Burnham. Angelica Mickens. James Watkins. C. Scott Winter. McKenna Kraus. Wendy Weaver. Jennifer Hilsinger. Mary Burgick. Lisa Bennett. Anishwara Iyer. Karen Cogsdill. Melissa Markey Bevan. Ashley Niedert. Ashley Monique Knight. Terrell Bruinton. Jasmine Carter C. Tressa Ellis. Alicia Hilpert. Deborah Beeler Bridges. Sheila Ann Jackson. Patricia Monet Connor. Ashley Moss. Alan Seals. Vieira Campbell. Kaylin Ryan Cummings. Chriselle Marie Williams. Asako Okano. Molly Elizabeth O'Brien Magnum. Matthew Wetstein. Rachel Jones. LaTerry Aaron. No.
You want me to say it?
Sure. Say it for me first.
Abdul Fattah Nasser Yahia.
Abdul Fattah Nasser Yahia. Shante Purnell. Rola Yasser Hassan. Aisha Parks. Shayla Ann Witt. KT Cummins. Taylor Young. Kayla Brown. Brooklyn Jewel House. Betty Allen. Sumaya Mufti. Danielle Green. Kristen Bobrowicki. Hira Pakrik. Robert Demetrius Giles. Nicholas Brian Ice Cold Patterson. Melissa Kingsley. Rhonda Schock. Wilma Joyner Muhammad. Aletha Cole Williams. Aletha Cole Williams. Jacqueline Brown. Shariah Solomon. Courtney Flagg.
Lindsay Morgan. Joseph Miller. Nicole Bruschi. Frania Adam. Erica Wartfield. Michelle Casno. Tessa Gibbons. Alexandria Spivapich. Oran Ray. Stephen Scavone. Joshua Sombe. Miriam Shooker. Cassandra Daisy. Emma Weber. Courtney Morton. Astrid Chalza. Haley Richardson. Ellie Rodriguez. Tristan Giroux. Troy Daring. Zahra Ayash. Kara Stefani. Emily Rosenberg. Jessica Trimmer. Bradley Harder. Kayshaner Bursch. Thank you. Rebecca Ann Walter. Sydney Spiller. Andrew Halberton. Gavin Austria. Eunice Al-Harithi. Angela Shanahan. Haley Yorchichan. Jordan Beeman. Jill Crick. Holly Lairley. Dawn Abdinwar. Sarah Rustafer. Willie Bacons II. Antonio Lorenzano. Erica Smith. Emma Maria Munez McDunn. Ashley Ivaldi. Jordan Phillips. Delaney Autumn O'Brien. Jenna Manchester. Chelsea DeLu. Brandon Metcalf. Danielle Alter. Sydney Fiziette. Edward Kerr III. Lindsay Scott. Karthik Sridasyum. Javier Williams. Ammar Al-Haidar. Abdullah Mirai. Nicolette Suave. Alexandra Lee. Brianna Kanalwachi. Ala Sroor. Mariana Nettles. Ashton Scott. Jacqueline Ray Carisco. Emily Howard. Stephen Adisha. Marcy Ellis. Margaret Gilbo. Olivia Perry. Samantha Davis. Courtney Holt. Megan DeWeese. Wesley Pomray. Brittany Wolin Weber. Sandra Moffitt. China Willis. Sarah Voss. Leslie Uvario. Tyler say that again. Tyler Grunowski. James Howell. Kathy Xavier. Kira Hillary. Kayla O'Donnell. Samantha Tolame. Tomislav Ristovsky. Thank you. Jessica Yukam. Travis Andres. Laura Hemmingson. Stephanie Miller. Anna Al-Bahalov. Abalov. Kamruz Zayman. Taylor Whitaker Scott. Kelsey Christina Turner. Christopher Nilsson. Michelle Kiss. Brandon Ryan. Umayma Eagle Nataf. Halima Begum. Vina Kuranu. Emily Fox. Timothy Addy. McKenna McClellan. Ahsan Al-Masri. Brianna Jackson. Briomi Jackson. Lonnie Lamar Marijo. Awesome.
And now, presenting the master and bachelor degree candidates from the School of Social Work. Nora Nora Suarez Sanders. Cheryl Holt. Ariana Ballard. Alexandra Lynn House. America Gaska. Lillian June Greenwood. Angela Louise Lopez. Christina Romero. Holly Jaru. Lena Jesus. Megan Menadio. Meredith Wright. Catherine O'Connor Price. Kativa Johnson. Karandi Randa. Tequila Christian. Chandra Woodard. Randy Charters. Samantha Lathers. Patricia McGuire. Roxy Flagman. Victoria Williamson. Mariah Vasquez. Catherine Stokes. Krupa Vora. Jessica Strobel. Artisha Turner. Sonia McCain. Kelly Kunick. Jennifer Smock. Eric Haynes.
Last name is Bolson.
Nicole Harris Bolson. Precious Craft. Ishmael Rymel Walton.
Arnella.
Arnella Barnes. Kirsten Brooks. Danielle Ty Murray. Brandy Webb. Darian Bandel, sorry. Christina Henning. Elisa Hominy. Angelica Ralston. Mina Bethel. Kelsey Vest.
Norman Jola.
Norman Jola. Ban Youssef.
Eva Malin.
Eva Mullaney.
Tara Canona.
Tara Canona.
Last name is
Jessica Balowski.
Abdel
Amelia Abidani. Abdalabi.
Amelia Abdulnabi.
Amelia Abdalabi.
Janelle Hojai.
Janelle Hajeji. J.
Tagreed Al-Ghazali.
Tagreed Al-Jazali. Al-Ghazali. Layla Ali Sobi. Rebecca Smith. Alexandra Ball. Crystal Tanner. Jenna Wilamowski. Hannah Reed. Yasmin Berry. Kia Mantai. Kaya Mantai. Chloe Herrera. Madison Louder. Ryan Russ. Kelsey Whitlaw. Kathleen Barner. Caitlin Barner. Aya Abu Hassan. Sarah Murray. Heather Garinga. Ella Kearney. Aaron Williams. Morgan LeClaire. Tracy Brinker. Danielle Swantek. Alexis Ria. Talea Thomas. Dominique Nicole Golden. Courtney Murkey. Ashley Rennick. Laura Mentora. Teresa Di Cristofero. Lillian Lee. Stephanie Warren. Leonard Watkins. Kaylee Grubb. Catherine Moritz. Jessica Winales. Christina Finelli. Samantha Sinitz. Brittany Pope. Jeffrey Bryant. Cassandra Williams. Brian Hart. Zakia Aniapam. Carmen Cochran. Leslie Tillman. Diane Cody. Artie Sanani. Shahida Ferdowsi. Catherine Berlin Staniford. Tony Thomas. Dana Okur. Destiny Hagan. Joseph Erbel. Terry Scott.
Mine's easy.
Kristen Brown. Alexandria Sinclair. Juana Scandrick.
Samantha Penelope Bridges. Ryan Ferrante. Adam Przalek. Mariah Talia Ferrero. Brittany Lowell. Tracy Dupre. Kelsey Marie Robinson. Ms. Demita Bracy. Layla Fathill. Oh, sorry. Shameen Abdul Rahimapur. Malaysia Kamen. Kimberly Glenn. Jody Shock. Patrick McCullough. Emily Robinson. Jacqueline Carson. Nicole Cecil. Kelly Voss. Michelle Mazzari. Jordan McGuinn. Patricia Ann Williams. Shonda Mann. Jason Maples. Deloria Munson. Jennifer Makowski. Karmika Lewis. I'm sorry. Karima Lewis. Ronald Groheen. Cabrina Rue. Tanya Toma. Caitlin Lyons. Janelle Weiss. Andrea Perez. Stephanie Mall. Anne Diarero Fitzpatrick. Katie Stipbich. Sequoia Boutram. Jessica Selby. Natalie Nieves. Madison Collinge. Shelby Nunn. Selena Soto. Jessica Salita Aliyah. Lindsay Gelhausen. Sarah Stazilowski. Celine Barron. Alexis Montian. Brittany Lesage. Zachary Lyons. Sarah Dombeke. John Dawson. Brittany Amos. Latasha White. Kiera Harris. Selena Ciccone. Jessica Erin Lennon. Camila De Pasquale. Mercedes Hotstetler. Crystal E. Turbot. Jacob Reyes. Daniele Shamoon. Jewel Nicole Wilson. Brett Schwartz. Daisha Willis. Sierra Nicole Flowers. Toya Dennis. Anna Seaman. Tarmi Shaudersky. Crystal Selnick. Elizabeth Burns. Danielle Little. Rebecca Asney. Fiega Bowick. Christopher Aniel. Andrea Valelonga. Samantha Shankin. Neosha Butler. Sue Ann Olson Hakam. Sylvia Wash. Elise Anquinette McWright. Christian Marbury. Sierra Rose Yakub. Ashley Berger. Ashabrita Norman. Shelby Painter. Crystal Kirk. Sarah Collison. Charles Nicholas. Christian Barden Bennett. Abdullah Salman. Shaquita Harrison. Chanel Johnson. Arnisha Jones. Amanda Claus. Marissa Kolmanitz. Emily Rice. Haley McNeven. Marie Kent. John Atala. Leon Oldenburg. Jacqueline Hanson. Kelly McKay. Jamal Reese. Kimberly McDowell. Lauren Holmes. Laniquia Porter. Armonique Threat. Jordan Congigliaro. Michelle Pendleton. Trevor, Afternoon Delight, Whitehead. Mr. Alan Johns. Michael Frederick Davis. Lauren Anita Fanche. Melissa Charlotte Glasson. Deanna Rosen. Kiera Crow Johnson. Shaquia Bullard. Shakia, excuse me. Alicia Clarissa Grant. Bria Harris. Jared Webb. Joshua Kibbe. Tamya McGee. India Ford. Brianna Marie Lewis. Alicia Miles. Samantha Kempf. Caitlin Bedoranowski. Callie Stanson. Daniel Horrigan. Cashiella Marzette. Miriam Khan. Kelly Cordoso. Paige Patenoid. Belgis Abdullah Al-Sufi. Josephine Soilinski. Ashley Droggs. Emily Hicks. Bradley Allen Woodthink. Teresa Minarczyk. Tiana Sharp. Dorothy Jean Jarrington. Abby Duprekian. Elijah Lloyd. Christine Lucretia Elmore. Shayna Caleb. Ashley Williams. Isia Walker. Asia Walker, sorry. Tanisha Lachey Fields. Ashley Collins. Michael Carroll. Miriam Eshu. Joyce Nayamade. Chanel Carter Sumling. Brandy J. Marable. Rachel Norwood. Mishonda Grant. Erin Spinkowski. Emily Mastick. Merrill Cunningham. Chelsea Rose Sostak. Lindsay Waisaki. Sarah Charbonneau. Jasmine Ali. Brittany Rose Shelton. Rania Keesum. Seher Omer. Haley Worth.
Oh.
Ashley Marie Brothers. Audrey Nichols Peters. Derek Moss. Shawnice Nicole Dotson. Shakari Lewis. Pauletta Carlson. Masuma Janat. Fahima Mumin. Farhana Akhtar. Monique Yelder. Marisol Bustamani. Lindsay Trigenza. Dorothy Watkins. Hallelujah! Louise Joanna McKenzie. Lauren Renee Johnson. Rachel Lab. Maze Quizazi. Bernard McBride. Monica Merzin. Sabrina Banks. Carly Steele. Hannah Heth. Zenabe Berry. Quinn Walker. Madison Cavanaugh. Lauren Savage. Aaron Lyons. Jasmine White. Colleen Wilson. Celine Shamoon. Tamisha Taylor. Cheyenne Everett. Jerry Anthony Copeland. Shaul Anthony. Deronda Kennedy. Lindsay Victoria Marie Moss. Rhonda M. Williams. Layla Alawi. Michaela Hirschberger. Victoria Guido. Marie Singleton. Emily Minshew. Gage Gorski. Juliet Gustafson. Morgan Caudell. Martha Denherder. Richard Armstrong. Victoria Clark. Lauren Taylor Holloway. Nathal Rashida Hussein. Sandus Mahmood. Jordan Lindsay. Christina McDonald. Claire Bakram. Taliana Nietzsche. Candace Rubban. Noor Alamari. Mariette Gordon.
It's
Mariette.
Mariette.
I'm sorry, Mariette Gordon. Shantice Gaydon. Shantae Jackson. Meredith Abramowitz. Jessica Elaine Wills. Jenna Montoya. Erin Clancy. Marianne Daniel. Beata Jadzuski. Myrtle Robinson. You're welcome. April Prizbinowski. Taisha Baker. Shauna Reyes. Austin Villeneuve. Kayla Barrios. Kelly Ott. Dustin Kaza. Tyler Spencer. Anne-Marie Campo. Esmeralda Cruz. Candy Mendoza. Susanna Yunchai. Nicole Schmidt. Katrina Achler. Holly Langmesser. Samantha Kebby. Michelle Rudish. Alexis Monaco. Joanna Monaco. Derek Matthews. Lydia Shangle. Batul Ibrahimi. Manar Al-Asade. Miriam Al-Girardi. Denisha Fife. Amanda Estioco. Taisha Gibson. Oh, what am I looking? Andre Indiapolo. Riley Page King. Amali Bergman. Phyllis Vaughn. Nicole Tucker. Destiny Owen. Antoinette Eva Marie Ulmer. Anjane Hargrove. Kayla Kirk. Shayla Zimmerman. Alyssa Ritz. Colleen Ellsburn. Monpreet Kerr. Alexia Kalis. Julie Carson. Alicia Long. Chandrio James. Latrice Johnson. Katie Till. Avery McLeod. Belena Morgan. Lauren Grant. Kilo Kiki Everson. Victoria Bazzuti. Cherie Dotson. Brandy Wazilewski. Crystal Radford. Charles Johnson. Anna Smolinski. Jamily Axeline. Keisha Hardrick. Kimlin Dell Kennedy Chase. Nino Ein Pabduo Laput. O'Sheen Bailey. Shayla Faber. Hala Mala. Lloyd Burns. Sean Campbell. Markia McClung. Deborah Smith. Tanya Nika Allison. Destiny D. Harris. Barbara Hale. Deja Allen.
Wayne State University's strength and passion is exemplified by our students who work long hours and years to reach this moment in their lives. There's a group of graduates among us that have willingly taken on an even greater challenge, and we would like to acknowledge them this evening. Would the students who are currently serving in and the students who are veterans of American Armed Services please stand and be recognized. We all owe you a great debt of gratitude for your service. I would now like to ask Dean Whitman from the College of Education to introduce the ceremony's student speaker.
Thank you, Provost Whitfield. Courtney Morton is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology with a concentration in Exercise and Sports Science. She is a 2015 graduate of Avondale High School in Auburn Hills, Michigan. During her time at Wayne State University, she completed a rigorous pre-medical course load and achieved Dean's List honors 5 times. Courtney is a 4-year member of the Wayne State women's golf team. She was recognized for all 8 of her semesters on the Athletic Director's Honor Roll, including 1 semester with a 4.0. During her athletic career, she was named the Great Lakes Collegiate Athlete Conference All Excellence Team, and she has been awarded the Division II Athletic Directors Association Academic Achievement Award. Courtney has also been involved in extensive research with the School of Medicine and the College of Education's Division of Kinesiology, Health, and Sports Studies. She was awarded the Undergraduate Research Award in Physiology from the American Physiological Society. She completed full-time research with the Department of Physiology through the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship Program. and her latest research contribution was a virtual reality study conducted with the kinesiology faculty in the College of Education. Courtney has served the community of Detroit in various ways. She has been an emergency room patient advocate with Harper Hospital, a student volunteer with the Veterans Affairs Hospital, and a mentor and mentor with Fitness Kids 360. She has also served with Life Remodeled Detroit and New Life Church Detroit. Following graduation, Courtney is applying to medical school to further her pursuit of becoming a physician. She hopes to use her passion for wellness to improve the lives of others. I am honored to introduce Courtney.
I chose Wayne State University because it had a lot of opportunity in the city. Kinesiology was just giving me the opportunity to learn more about bettering my health, but also bettering the people around me. As an athlete, it's kind of been ingrained in my mind, just like trying to be mindful of my body and taking care of it. Being a student athlete at Wayne State is incredible. The cool thing about Wayne State University is that it's so diverse, and I feel like the people here have really impacted my time here. I'm Courtney Morton, and I'm Warrior Strong. Hello, class of 2019. To members of the Board of Governors, President Wilson, Dean Whitman, Dean Kubiak, and distinguished faculty in the College of Education and School of Social Work, thank you for this opportunity. To Dr. Linda Jimenez and other faculty members in the Division of Kinesiology, Health, and Sports Studies, a special thank you for your guidance. To my other mentors, coaches, teammates, and friends, thank you all for supporting me through my highs and lows. And finally, to my mom, dad, brother, and family, I thank the Lord for you guys. You have made me feel so supported, loved, and capable. Now, graduates, I know you all have people here that you are thankful for, and I would like for us to take a minute to thank those people. But before we do that, since I'm a golfer, we gotta do this clapping thing a bit differently. Instead of doing a regular clap, we are going to use a soft golf clap. So graduates, would you please give your best golf clap to the friends and family that are here today? Very nice, very nice. In preparing for this speech, I began to reflect on my journey here at Wayne State. After getting 7 parking tickets my freshman year, I definitely learned how to pay the meter. While yes, learning to pay the meter is a great realization, I've thought about some of the major lessons I've learned during my time here. My mind kept going back to this idea of challenge and how it's become ingrained in me. I've learned that it is essential for me to challenge my intellect, be challenged by others, and form challenging goals. In the past, I have not always embraced this concept. In high school, I was comfortable with where I was at, and I didn't like the idea of being challenged in my studies. Despite this mindset, when college came around, I hesitantly enrolled in my first biology course. In the first month of class, I found myself drowning in the material. Nothing made sense, and I realized I needed a tutor to help me out. The more I began to understand, the more I loved the fight it created inside of me. It was challenging, it was stretching, and it made me realize that just like a golf course, biology was just another course that I was capable of mastering. As I continued on, a professor of mine, Dr. Jimenez, had directed me towards joining a research lab. She reminded me that I was capable and encouraged me to pursue my interest in science. Although I joined this lab with no background knowledge in physiology, I was challenged and experienced exponential growth for being there. I later went on to complete my final internship for my exercise and sports science degree in that research lab. Throughout my undergraduate career, I found the greatest growth out of the experiences that made me the most frustrated and challenged. I would encourage you to reflect on your career as well. Think about those classes that made you work extra hard. Or maybe your challenge came outside of the classroom in a difficult internship, job, or volunteering experience. As you reflect on those times, think about how much stronger you are standing today because you pushed through that. I truly believe that in my own life, if I'm not challenging myself, I'm not growing. And if I'm not growing, I'm not becoming the best student, friend, sister, and daughter that I can be. The second thing I learned was that in order to challenge myself, I needed to be challenged by others. As I started my golf career here at Wayne State, I was surrounded by an incredible group of teammates who pushed themselves academically and athletically. Although we all had different majors and we all played our own individual games of golf, we were all motivated by each other. When one person improved, our whole team improved. In my life, I have found the most growth when I am surrounded by people who excel at what they do. I would not be standing here today if it weren't for my friends, teammates, and fellow classmates that have worked hard and challenged themselves. But not all teams look the same. Who are those people in your life that have pushed you? Is it your friends, coworkers, professors, classmates? Regardless of who is on your team, I encourage you to thank those people and to continue to seek out challenging environments that will inspire you to grow. The final thought I want to leave you with today is to make challenging goals. After my first undergrad biology course ended, I realized that how I performed in my past was not a reflection of my capabilities. The only thing keeping me from succeeding in my classes was my belief in myself. So I made the goal to push myself and to take the classes that were interesting to me regardless of how difficult they could be. Setting these goals has opened so many doors, and I find myself on a career path that I never would have imagined. As you transition to a new chapter in life, I encourage you to make goals that will stretch you. Just as I have learned these past 4 years, do not limit your own capabilities. Make goals to reflect the person you want to be. Whether your next step is to start a career, family, or educational program, may you set goals that will push you to be the best you can be. One of my favorite quotes by Casey Diane says, "I love the person I have become because I fought to become her." A lot has changed from my little freshman self who was scared of a challenge and got parking tickets once a week. I look back at the growth that has occurred in my life and I feel a sense of accomplishment. And now I'm looking at you. Maybe you feel like you haven't changed much at all, but you're here today, and that's a great accomplishment. Think back to those obstacles that you have overcome to be here. Maybe it was a health problem. Maybe it was a difficult financial circumstance. Maybe there were days that you felt inadequate and incapable. You have fought to be where you are today. And my hope for you in the future is that you continue to fight to be the best version of yourself. Fight to become the best educator, physical therapist, occupational therapist, athletic trainer, personal trainer, teacher, doctor, social worker, and, and person that you can be. My hope is that you will continue to challenge your intellect, be challenged by others, and form challenging goals, because that's what makes us warriors strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney, for those wonderful remarks. And now, a welcome to the university's new alumni will be extended by Peter Caborn, Associate Vice President for Alumni Relations and Advancement Services and Executive Director of the Wayne State Alumni Association. Please welcome Mr. Caborn.
Okay, social work, you have energy tonight, so I need some of your help. Congratulations, graduates. You all arrived as students tonight, but you leave as so much more. You're now powerful examples of success. You've demonstrated that with grit and opportunity, anything is possible. You've aced your classes, you've connected with your friends, you've connected with your mentors, you've juggled work and home, all to get to tonight. Today you become something amazing. You become Wayne State University alumni. You are now part of a community of more than 270,000 alumni from Wayne State. We have alumni in every part of Detroit, every part of the state, all across the country, and all around the globe. That means that there are warriors virtually everywhere standing at the ready to help you find your next job, connect with each other, and give back to the community. You're automatically a member of the Wayne State Alumni Association. There are no forms to fill out, no fees to send in, but I do need your email address because we want to be able to stay in touch with you. We'll use your email address to keep you updated on events and programs and opportunities to establish and broaden your personal and professional networks. The Alumni Association offers many ways for you to stay involved with the university who's helped you get here. You can mentor students in your field. You can support a campus program that you feel passionate about. You can engage with fellow alumni at events here in Detroit and across the country. Keep up with us through the news that we'll send you and share your news with us. We want to hear about your success. We want to hear about your accomplishment. We want to hear about your milestones. Take advantage of your Alumni Association's programs and services because we've designed them with you in mind. Use the association to stay connected to your classmates, to build a valuable network, and to give back to Wayne State. On behalf of the Alumni Association, congratulations again on your accomplishments. We're so excited to see what you will do next. And as you take on the world and go out and improve it, just remember, you are not just strong, you are warrior strong. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Caborn. What an exciting ceremony. What an exciting evening. But the time has come to bring this ceremony to a close. Will all the PhD, doctoral, and master's degree recipients please stand? Will everyone join me in congratulating these students for their efforts and accomplishments in successfully completing their graduate degrees? Thank you, and please be seated. Now will all the bachelor's degree students please stand? In a tradition continued in many great universities across the world to signify the completion of your undergraduate degree, the bachelor's recipients will now turn their tassels from right to left. We congratulate you. Thank you, and please be seated.
We salute the student, faculty, and staff volunteers who helped manage this evening's ceremony. And we also give special thanks to Professor Damian Crutcher, conductor of the Wayne State University Wind Symphony, and also thank the members of the Wind Symphony. Lastly, leading the platform party to and from the stage this evening is the mace bearer, Professor Lloyd Allen, Assistant Professor in the School of Social Work. As we prepare to bring this evening's ceremony to a close, I ask that the platform party please rise. And marshals, I ask that you please lead the members of the platform party from the stage. This now concludes this evening's commencement ceremony. Congratulations to everyone.